So, today I want to talk about eating disorders. Yeah, I know eating disorders are something that are talked about a lot more than they used to be. But I feel like a lot of the time when people are talking about eating disorders, they're talking about it in like a facts and figures kind of way. They're important things to talk about, of course, but I feel like what isn't talked about so much is what it's really like having an eating disorder, you know, the pain of waking up in the morning and your one goal for that day is for there to be less of you than there was the day before, and how lonely it is to have an eating disorder. I guess in this video I just want to talk openly about the subject, and not in a judgmental way, and not in a way that ridicules people with eating disorders, because I feel like that's done a lot as well. If you have the disease, the pain of it is enough. You have enough to deal with right now, and you don't need guilt, you know? And I just want to talk to whoever is struggling with it, and also anyone who maybe doesn't have a diagnosed, I don't think I should use air quotes because I think I misused them. Anyone who just doesn't like their body, and that anyone who is thinking of going down that road, thinking of going down the road of extreme dieting, or even any sort of dieting just to get skinny. So I guess a good place to start is a little bit of my own personal experience. I have suffered from an eating disorder. I suffered from anorexia nervosa, I think I'd be able to pronounce it, from the ages of 15 to 21. I'm 23 now. It's not something I ever really talk about. I don't really even talk about it to like my friends and family and stuff. But if my experience or my input can just even a little bit help just one person, I know it's such a cliche thing to say, but it's true, you know, if it could just help one person, then absolutely, I'll talk about it until the cows come home. Bearing in mind I am surrounded by cows, so that wouldn't be very long. I know the devastation that it can do to yourself and people around you. And I also know that not eating and purging and all of that, those are symptoms. But the real disease, it's in here, and it's in here, you know. I know what it's like to look in the mirror and hate what you see. And I also know what it's like to look in the mirror and be so confused because it's not what other people see. You don't know who to trust. Everything's unstable. You can't trust yourself. You can't trust the voices in your head. You think you can sometimes. It gets a little bit weird. I feel like it's hard to relate to other people when you have any sort of mental illness. But the one we're talking about right now is an eating disorder, so we'll stick to that. It's a very isolated time. It's a very isolated place to be. I don't know what I could really say to anyone who's suffering in it and who's, you know, in the depths of an eating disorder right now, because I know that it's very hard for any words, any logic to reach, or anything to reach, because you really are, you're just lost, and it's the only coping mechanism you have, and it does feel like your friend, and if someone tries to come along and take it from you, there's gonna be a beatdown or a smackdown or something, you know? I don't know what I can say to you. I wish that I could take away your pain. I wish I could make you see that you're so much more than this. You're so much more than this. You were made for so much more than what you're trying to attain right now, what you're trying to achieve right now. The very thing that you're trying to attain, you're pushing away from yourself, and you're going in the opposite direction, baby. You are. But I know it's a disease. Your brain doesn't work like that. I know. And that's why this is such a difficult video to make, because I can see both sides. I can see what you just can't see when you're in the darkness of having an eating disorder, because it's such a dark place. My gosh, it's so dark. And I never thought that there'd be light outside of the darkness. Or if there was, that there'd be a time where it wouldn't just hurt my eyes to look at. I don't think there's any like one blanket reason. Again, I'm misusing these. Don't let me do this. Blanket reason why people do what they do in regards to eating disorders. There's a lot of reasons, and they can differ from day to day. For me, it was that For me, it was that I really did hate myself, and there was too much of me. I just wanted there to be less of me. Something that didn't exist, really, as a hashtag, I guess, because we didn't have hashtags when I was at my worst, but the thigh gap thing. I did a little bit of research. Tumblr searched. This is the sign language for Tumblr searching. I Tumblr searched thigh gap. One common thing that I saw was these girls talking about wanting to be weightless, wanting to feel weightless. It's kind of what it boiled down to in a lot of the cases, was that they want that feeling of being weightless, you know, and everything that comes along with it, you know, collarbones, hip bones. What other bones are there? Biology lesson with Siobhan. Being underweight doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel weightless. It feels like you're made of lead. It's not what you think it'll feel like. It's heavy, it's really heavy just to drag. It's like you're dragging yourself along, you know, 'cause you just don't have the energy. You're weak, you're cold. You're striving for beauty, but it's not what you're gonna get. No matter what age you are watching this, no matter what weight you are, if you're thinking you need to just, you know, slim down a little bit to make yourself more acceptable to yourself and to others, or, you know, you want to start to restrict or not eat or starve yourself, it's not worth it. It's really not. If I can just convince you that would be awesome. It really is. It's an awful, awful lie that skinny is anything other than just skinny. It's just skinny. It won't get you what you want. It won't make you happy, because you're so much more than your weight. You're so much more than a number on a scale. You're probably definitely just an amazing person is all I'm trying to say. And I know, you're like, you don't know me, but like, everyone is good at stuff, and everyone has talents, and everyone has love, and everyone has, do they? I don't know, for some reason there I thought of Oscar the Grouch, and I was like, he doesn't have love. I guess for me it just got to a point where I had to choose between life or death. Recovery is difficult. It's really, 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 really difficult. And the hardest part is the first step. And after that is also the hardest part. It might be the hardest thing that you have to go through. Hopefully it is the hardest thing you have to go through, in that I hope that you don't have to go through anything harder. And yeah, it is terrifying at first, giving up the control. It does get easier. It does, it really does. Once you come to that point where you realize, actually, giving up that control, I actually have control now. I really do wish I could hold your hand, if that wouldn't be creepy. Hug you would be less creepy, I guess, than holding your hand. But either is good for me. You might fall down. You might relapse. It doesn't matter, you know, it really doesn't matter how many times you relapse or how many times you fall down. Just as long as you're fighting the good fight. Something that not many people know. I have this medallion. Engraved on it is 5th, thou shalt not kill. And it's not just because I'm a maniac that needs to be reminded not to murder, but not to kill myself by starving myself. And it's just a reminder that that's what I was doing, you know? I guess I just want to say you're not alone, and even though it feels like you are, maybe you are alone. Maybe there isn't anyone to talk to. If that's the case, yeah, I'm gonna say it. You can talk to me. Sure, I am just a stranger on the internet that has a medallion reminding them not to kill. But you know, a stranger is just a person that you haven't messaged yet about your personal problems, you know? It's probably not something you're gonna want to talk about in the comments. So you can message me, or if you want to talk about in the comments, that's cool too, you know? You can talk to me about it anywhere. On Keek, Snapchat. Why am I talking like a person that doesn't know what the internet is? Or if you just want to talk about something else. But to someone that knows what you're going through. Maybe I don't know exactly what you're going through, but I know, sort of. Yeah, thank you for listening. If you have any questions, or if you want me to talk more about this, or if you want me to like learn how to use quotation things properly, if you want me to do anything, I'll do it.